Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Ham Nation is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Ham Nation, episode number 32, January 24th, 2012, CES Part II. Hello, everybody. It's another great night here on Ham Nation, and I am back from California, where Sarah and I spent a couple of weeks, and we had all kinds of fun at the NAMM show. That's the National Association of Music Merchandisers, and we had a wonderful time. But we also got to see everybody on Ham Nation, as you know, last week from Gordo and Susie's house. So that was a lot of fun. But this week, Gordo is not here. He's out in the desert at Quartzfest, and I tell you what we'll do. We better pick him up while we can, and we'll come back to George. George is here. Cheryl is here. And it's very windy, and it's very cold in the desert. So let's see what happens. Gordo and everybody at Quartzfest, are you there for us?
We are live and direct from Quartzfest, Arizona. We are having a great time with all the ham operators. And here are the hams to say Ham Nation loud and clear. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ham Nation! And leading our Quartzfest operation is Steve Weed, KO4QT. And Steve, how about giving us the numbers with a little bit of the fire smoke? Come on in here, Steve.
And Gordo wanted to stand in the smoke, his idea. Our total attendance out here so far, and people are still signing in, we're right at 310 RVs. Now, those are trailers and motorhomes and buses and tent trailers, and I think there's even a tent or two out here. A little over 500 in attendance. Our special event station, IC 9100, loaned to us by iCOM, and that Heil microphone and headset. Yay. 557 contacts so far in a week from Whiskey 7 Quartzfest, W7Q. We have so much. It's an entire week of seminars, both for ham radio and RVing. We have transmitter hunting and APRS seminars and workshops, amateur television, antenna classes, even an antenna shootout, and that'll go on tomorrow on 7.250. So if you want to listen into the contacts we make there, 7.250, that's at 9 o'clock California time tomorrow. We have an off-road trip planned for the week. That's every year. We have geocaching. Of course, we have our hobo stew, and that's where they just dump everything they get into a bucket, and it mixes up into one heck of a good bucket of chow. We did have potluck tonight. And we had a potluck tonight with 50 pounds of brisket, and that was donated by, brought in by the Western Country Cousins Net. Manufacturers are supporting us so well. Kenwood has given us a decent health gift, right? Yaesu has gift certificates and hats and maps and all kinds of stuff. We got giveaways from MFJ, iCOM, Tentec. We got a bracket from Billy Goat Brackets that goes into a 2-inch receiver in the back of a vehicle, mount an antenna to it. Buddy pole, just so many people supporting us. All the people out here just having a heck of a good time. We're at ARRL Specialty Operating Convention this year. Ray Novak, W3IZ from Newington, Connecticut, came out, I believe, Sunday and gave a talk on Logbook of the World. Just so much going on.
All right. Well, thanks for all of you, Ham Nation, joining us. And Scott is our main camera guy. And if you'll do just a slow pan around here, Scott, show maybe the fire and everything. But we just wish everybody back home the very best from the desert floor And there is our Ham Nation crew at Quartzsite, Arizona, Quartzfest. So, Bob, back to you. And everybody go 73 to Bob and Leo and George and the whole gang. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 73. Back to you, Bob.
All right, good one. As usual, Gordy is having too much fun, but we're happy that that we could get you in, Gordon, and I know you guys worked hard on that. So good deal, and we'll hear some more from Gordo about Quartzfest next week when he comes back. George, did you catch that? Was that cool or what?
That was really cool. And, you know, Gordo's always having too much fun. I heard a viewer last week say when he saw you and Gordo hanging out there together at Gordo's shack that it reminded him of Wayne's World.
Well, yes, that's about it when you get us together. We had a great time there last week with them. And, you know, while I was there, guess what I did, everybody? Don't tell Gordon. But if you remember, hey, George, you know this is always in his background, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I brought it home.
Oh.
But I didn't steal it. He gave it to me. And what was really crazy is I got ready to go. We had eaten dinner there, and Susie fixed a night's dinner, and we were all watching. We actually came back and watched, after Ham Nation, we watched the Tim Allen Last Man Standing show. And in my bag was this. He says, you have to take this home. And so now I have one, too. If you know, there's so many in the chat room always asking what he got behind him flashing. Well, there it is. And it'll do it also with audio. Hello. Hello. Hello.
That's
pretty
neat.
cool, huh? Anyway, he did give it to me, so I didn't steal it. I'm just borrowing it, George. What can I tell you? Let's see if Cheryl is here from Northern Illinois. It's probably cold up there. Cheryl, are you with us tonight?
I sure am, and welcome everyone to Ham Nation tonight. And it is chilly up here in northeastern Illinois near the Wisconsin border. We do not have any precipitation, but the weather is kind of cool.
Yeah, well, you got a new look. We like it. Dave's been working on your set. That's great. So we're continuing to improve things here on Ham Nation. I've had many requests already. What is this? It's a PR35, but it came from our custom shop, my custom guys. They do motorcycles for Jesse James and all kinds of wonderful things in the car world, but they do custom work in our plant, right on location here in Fairview Heights. So they maybe this beautiful red microphone. It's a PR35, and I'm running it through an Elise's mixer. Somebody also asks, and I get a lot of emails about it. It's right here. It's an Elise's the Multi-Mix 8, and that's what we use. It has USB out, and that's what you're listening to. It's a PR35 into the computer, which is a PC, and not the Apple on this one. So that's what we're doing here, and hope it sounds okay. We have a little bit of EQ on it, and away we go. So that's what's happening. We had a wonderful time in California. We spent a day with John Amadeo, and let me tell you, John Amadeo is an incredible guy. He's the producer for Tim Allen's new show. And if you haven't seen it, you must tune in. He comes on right before Ham Nation here. So Sarah and I watched an episode right before we got ready to fire up. And you want to check it out. It's on ABC. It's their top-rated show. And why it's so important for you to listen and watch The Last Man Standing is that ham radio is in the program. They have a wonderful station that John has set up, iCOM a transceiver, and they've got the same SB2 boom and our DT1 mount, and then a PR781 and a headset and all that. But it's an actual station, and there's a picture of it. This is on the set, and that is a working station. And in 2 weeks, we're going to have the video that they took for us. Julian's worked all day with John and Billy getting it all edited up. And that is going to be a lot of fun, but we're only going to do that when Gordo and I can be here together. So, and it'll be about somewhere around 2 weeks. We'll be ready to go. We also have some other pictures from that set. We'll show you just a couple of them here. This is all done at the ABC set that actually the building that Seinfeld was done years ago. And we're very excited about this because ham radio is figured into that. Alex, if you got some more slides there, you might want to look at some of them. There's John and Susan and Gordo and I. Of course, that's right on the set. You'll notice of real QSL cards. They're getting hundreds of them behind. And this is a working set, and Tim is very, very happy about this, and he's excited and sounds like he wants to get his license. So looks like we'll have Tim Allen as one of our fraternity brothers here before long. So we appreciate John's work there on that set, getting amateur radio written onto a national program. It's the first time I can ever remember this, so thanks very much for doing that. And just Saturday, their audio person, Laura, got her technician license, and there's 7 other people in the production crew. And so that's why they've set up this this station. You'll see Gordo and I making contacts from it. It's not just there for looks. It really works. They got a wonderful antenna system up. So fun stuff, fun stuff. Well, we want to show you some things from the CES show. You saw episode 1 last week, and Julian's going to show you episode 2. Before we do that, though, I want to give you a little bit of history about one of the people there. KC8ZUL. Jerry is a very active amateur radio operator in Columbus, Ohio, and we've got a slide of his station. We'll run through these real quickly. That's his station. Next, we have something that is very dear to him. He collects broadcast transmitters, and he collects a lot of them. Slide 3 shows you more of them. He's got I don't know, I'm guessing, probably about 50 of them in this beautiful warehouse. But that slide shows you some 833 tubes, and he loves 833s. They're a beautiful tube. So what did he do? He built an audio amplifier with a pair of 833s, and he showed it at CES this year, and we're going to see it in that video. And I just wanted you to know that most all the guys in his plant in Columbus are hams. And here again, amateur radio means so much to so many of us because it's our whole education. So let's roll that video from CES, and we'll be able to see some wonderful things, and you'll see the interview from the APL Audio Power Labs there in the middle of it. So take her away, Alex.
That's right, come hang out with us and enjoy day 3 of CES. That's right, check it out. That's right, Julian, I'm out of here.
Uniden has a new CB radio times 1, 2, and 3. Hi, Paul. Paul Opitz, Uniden.
Good morning, Gordo. How you doing this morning?
I am fine, looking at your new line of CB radios.
Yeah, we're really proud of these. These don't look like your grandfather's CB radio. We've recognized that a lot of new guys are entering the CB market, younger guys, people that are used to, the cleaner technology look, not the chrome. We're keeping the chrome around for all of our trucker friends, our current base, but we've come out with these new models that have color backlighting, more of a flat panel design. We think and we're getting really good feedback from our retail partners. They love it too.
That is great. And these have weather alert as well?
They have weather alert. Actually, for the first time in many, many years, we have single sideband in a unit. So we're introducing the Paracat 980 SSB that has single sideband, upper and lower sideband, as well as the traditional 40 CB channels. We have a step down that's actually the unit that's out right now, the Bearcat 880, that's your 40 channel CB. So we're working to come back and cover the entire range of CB radios, get all the hot points that everybody's looking for.
And they add to your complete line of CB radios from Uniden.
Absolutely.
Uniden, a leader in FRS, GMRS, and because they're also into marine radios, these units are submersible, huh?
Yes, we have 2 submersible units here. These are JIS-7, so you can actually, if you fall in the water, go down 3 feet, stay down 30 minutes. You probably won't survive, but the radio is going to work, and it's going to float to the top. It's actually hard to submerge them for that long because they want to float back up.
Oh, isn't that great? Now, you've got other models as well. Now, these are full 22 channels, no more 14 channels FRS radios?
Not in the U.S. market. It's really everything has gone to 22 channels, the combination FRS, GMRS channels. And we have a good line. We've added glow-in-the-dark buttons to our line here with the weather alert. We have the weather receive functions, and we get down into our more basic units that hit price points, so the giftable items that we really see a lot of good response from our customers.
Wow. Now, Paul works closely with a lot of user groups that work with the FCC. Are we going to see some rule changes coming to FRS, GMRS, Part 95 radio service soon?
Well, soon it's the government. Who knows? But we are expecting rulemaking probably later this year that will have some effect on GMRS, FRS. Kind of stay tuned. We're watching it closely. We'll be sure to keep up with the technology, and you know, we'll be right there with product that that people are looking for.
And Uniden certainly has the products. And Uniden with scanners. Looks like a new one, Paul, huh?
Yes, we just introduced the BC-125 AT. It's an event. We're calling it an event scanner is kind of the nickname for it. It's got military aircraft. It's got civilian aircraft. It's got the railroad. It's great for going to an event. Air shows, car races, just anything. It's got alpha tagging, so you can tell who is talking. I think this is the first alpha tagged conventional bank scanner that has been out maybe since the 90s sometime. I'm not sure. It's kind of exciting for us. It's really filling in a niche at that. You don't need a trunked radio, but I want a few more features.
And of course, the scanner of all scanners is the Uniden Home Patrol. Now 1 year old, huh?
That's right, 1 year old, and we had a great first year. It has really taken off in the market. Customers love it. We've been listening to our customers, taking the feedback that they're giving us and rolling that back into improvements for the product as well. Wow.
Now, what new with the Home Patrol for this year?
Well, late last year, we issued an update called, we nicknamed the Extreme Update. It came along with an Extreme Upgrade. Now, the update allowed anybody to program the Home Patrol using the PC software, put any channel in it they want, which was an early criticism of it. We listened, we changed. We also have an Extreme Upgrade that takes the stuff, you know, we built the Home Patrol for the guy that really didn't know anything about radio systems. He just wanted to listen to the police. And they love it. It's easy. You just put in your zip code. But it's a sweet platform. And the real scanner enthusiast, the guy that really wants to get the most out of his scanners, there's room in that platform for features like that as well.
Wow, that's terrific. Now, the Home Patrol also takes GPS, and you now have the Uniden GPS unit that matches it, huh?
That's right. You plug a GPS into it, it automatically picks the channels for exactly where you are, so you can drive across town or across the country without having to reprogram anything.
Wow, so no longer do you need to know exactly what county you're in, huh?
You don't have to know your county, your zip code, your city. You just have to know how to drive and listen.
Wow. Uniden Home Patrol.
Right in the road.
Well, this is a plug-and-play device. So
Plug and play.
Plug it in, the Ethernet
Plug it in, plug it in.
Ethernet cable.
Audio Power Labs. And when we're talking power, you see it here. Hi there. How you doing, Ryan?
Morning, Gordon. How are you?
Now, what do we have here with the big 833s?
Well, my name is Ryan Meldow from Audio Power Labs. This is our second year at CES, and this year we have brought both our 833 TNT monoblock amplifier.
Wow.
It is a 200-watt push-pull, all Class A. We're using 833C output tubes. Monoflap. It's an interesting combination of vintage tube technology and state-of-the-art modern power technology and control technology.
So transistors couldn't touch the levels that you're achieving here?
Well, they could, but not with the purity for sound.
Ah, there you go. And Ryan, how about some technical details about the 833 TNT?
Okay, as we mentioned, it is a 200-watt push-pull Class A amplifier. Our first stage tubes are the classic 12B87, second stage 6550, and the classic 833C output tubes. They are power triode. They've been around since World War II. They are actually currently in production and readily available, so don't worry about buying the amplifier and not finding tubes. Our amplifier is rather unique, as I mentioned. It's a marriage of classic tube technology and quality audio with modern state-of-the-art technology, power supplies, and computer control. One cool thing about our amplifier is, if you notice down here, we have an operating system which will start up the amplifier and automatically bias every tube. Your choice when you want to start up and bias or start up and preload the previous bias values. We use all solid-state switching technology, power supplies, which none of it touches the tube audio path. Like I said, our audio path is completely transformer coupled, not one capacitor in the whole audio path. As far as power supply, a lot of people use classic power supplies. We use modern technology, switching power supplies, and one neat thing about this is you can run this from DC to about 280 volts, from 50 hertz, 60 hertz, up to aircraft 400 hertz, and it doesn't care.
Audio Power Labs, definitely a family of engineers, right, Pia? Everybody's technical?
Yes, everybody is technical. It's a very small company. Everybody at the company works really hard, and they are expert at what they're doing. So that's why we have a very small, tight-knit group, but we do enjoy what we do, and we operate like family. We even have free lunch for people who work at the company, too. Where else can you get that type of environment?
Indeed. And how long has this company been in business producing these great tube amplifiers?
The company actually was officially started in 2009, but Jerry has this idea, and he's been kicking around and working on the product for quite some time now. He is you said it before, a tube enthusiast, and he's been kicking around with the idea for quite a while before he actually started the company.
Scanner listeners, this is quite a treat. We have two legends in the personal communications field here at the CES 2012. Wayne Wilson, WR5 Sierra, and Paul Opitz, November 5 Tango Papa Quebec. Paul is with Uniden, Wayne is with GRE, and they both were with Radio Shack many years ago. So true pioneers. What do you see as, Wayne, the future of scanning now that scanning's become a little bit more complex?
Well, the big change is that scanners used to be very difficult to program, and you kind of had to become a radio expert in your local systems and know about trunking and 800 megahertz and all these things. Today, we use an SD card with the entire database on it. So now anyone can program and use a scanner. If you just know your zip code or your location, now you can program your scanner.
Wow, so that's really improved the capability of getting all those hot frequencies. Now, I guess both of you use the same scanner database, is that right?
That's right. We both license the radio reference database, and that provides a great resource. It's been a great resource for radio scanner users for almost 12 years now. And it's finally matured to the point where we can merge the technology with a scanner to make the user experience, you know, Bob, who just wants to hear the police, can now do it again.
I just love doing the show. It is a huge, for us, I think, a huge show because so many hams, so many of our audience are hams or are hams who have been off the air for a while. Is there a term for that?
Lazy.
And I think they get excited about it again. I've heard from a lot of people who've, like Kirk Harnack over there, who've reactivated their ham license and kind of, he was a technician for a long time. You gave him a little tutorial. He suddenly became a general, and he's using his ham radios more than ever. So I'm really glad we can bring ham radio into our sphere and help promote ham radio. And you guys do such a great job. Gordon West is, of course, WB6NOA, but he's also at W5YI.org.
Org.
I didn't want to say the wrong TLD.org. That's where you can find all his training materials. If you've ever thought about being a ham, start with the technician book, but also get the CDs, because I listened to those in the car, and that really helped me learn and study for the test very quickly. And you just do a great job, Gordon. It's so great to see you.
Thanks, Leo.
Continue on with Ham Nation.
Right, I'll hear you on the air.
73. All right. There he goes. Gordon West. Don't forget these radios.
Here comes the good part, the bloopers.
All right, for our ham radio emergency responder, we have just... Uh-oh. Take two. And take two. And finally, digital microphones from Dino Light. Now, Joseph, these have to be like $1,000.
It's not a microphone.
Microscope.
What did I say?
Microphone.
And WaterSafe is going to make sure that next time Hannah drops her phone in the bathtub, it's going to survive. Wilson Electronics, a biggie in personal communications and making sure that cell phone calls don't get dropped. Now, tell us about this great product that you have, Blake.
Wilson Electronics manufactures bidirectional amplifiers for home. Oh, there goes my phone ringing.
Okay, take two. Wilson Electronics, a leader in personal communications. And with us today at the CES show is Blake. Blake, what have you got? Looks like an amplifier.
Hi. Wilson Electronics builds bidirectional amplifiers that cover... I can't do this.
Okay.
I'm going to get somebody else to do it.
Take 17.
Sorry.
Midland is always big. Take two. And here, take two. Oh, that's terrific. And I see you have one of your world band. Take two. And now there's even more at the CES show. Sorry, Hannah, here we go.
Just go again. Just go again.
1. And now there's even more at the CES show 2012.
They don't always have.
So where, take two.
The Home Patrol, we're doing a great job this year with.
Okay, take two.
Yeah.
Hi, Ryan. Whoa, pretty impressive. Look, let's start that one over again. I'm sorry.
Carry on.
Never been as close.
We are trapped in an elevator. There's about 100 of us in an elevator that's supposed to hold 20. And there's no getting out.
So
No
far.
food.
So far.
That's right, no food.
We ate enough.
You raised the most.
He got it.
This is the way to see Las Vegas on the monorail. It's the only way you're going to get from the convention center over to the Venetian, where they also have displays of booths and all sorts of radio stuff. So enjoy the ride on the monorail, CES 2012.
You too.
How cool is all of that? Man.
That was cool, dog. Took me two.
I bet you didn't think he had that much radiation, did you, George? Look at that.
I sure didn't. You just never know where Gordo's going to pop up.
That is exactly true. Boy, oh boy, how much fun. That was really super. We appreciate all of the work that he, Julian, and Hannah did to bring us all of the reports from CES. And while I'm thinking of CES, the nice shot of Leo, I've got to tell all of you some very good news that I learned at the show. There's a magazine called Radio World that featured Leo on the front cover a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Well, the vice president of New Bay Media came to my booth and handed me this one. It's the International Radio, and they always pick out a very important person for the front page, and look who it is. An entire article, that same article, on the front cover again. I think there's about 3 or 4 pages in the International Radio World about the Twit family and Leo. I am really proud to be a part of this incredible organization, because now the whole world is starting to figure out that Leo Laporte knows how to use the internet. So I wanted to let you guys all know, if you get Radio World, be sure and check it out. You can also, I think, go online and get it. One other thing I forgot to do, look at this QSL card that I got. Cheryl, check this out. How about that, Cheryl? Is that
very
cool?
nice? That's very cool.
That's
awesome.
Tim's KA0XTT QSL card, and that's a license that the FCC has given them, kind of an experimental license to use for the show. Kind of cool, huh? Are you finding anybody in the chat room, Cheryl, that alive and kicking, that we need to answer anything?
Absolutely. There is a couple things. I'm not sure here. Someone comments here. Any experts regarding the iCOM AH-4 tuner? Any experience with that particular tuner that you know of?
George, you got any idea about that? I bet you got one of them, don't you?
No, I sure don't. I'm not familiar with that model.
Yeah, that's one that a lot of the mobile people use, so I'm not sure. You could go up to eHam and look for some reviews on that. That would be the best thing. Got another one there, Cheryl?
Yes, regarding that 833 TNT, someone was curious, was that a mono amplifier? Was that a mono amp?
It is. You need 2 of them, or you need 4 of them, or you need 6 of them. Yeah, it's quite a cool piece, let me tell you, and it sounds terrific. I got to hear it at the plant when I visited the plant last December. It's amazing, just amazing. So that's good. We'll come back to you. We need to get Robert in here. Robert Sudak is going to bring some Newsline report, see what the news of the day is in amateur radio. So, Robert, take it away.
Thank you and good evening, everybody. These are the Ham Nation headlines for Tuesday, January 24th, 2012. The giant QRZ ham radio website has joined the fight to stop passage of SOPA, the Stop Online Piracy Act, and PIPA, the Protect IP Act, a similar bill working its way through the U.S. Senate. If enacted, ISPs, bloggers, and website operators would be required to take monumental steps to eliminate copyrighted material or face shutdown and felony charges with scant due process. Urged by Hollywood and the music industry, the requirements would break the Internet as we know it, and the legislation would reach the DNS system, blocking both U.S. and international websites and online banking services. Many major websites went dark on Tuesday, January 18th to dramatize what might happen if the bills were enacted. Twit, however, chose to devote all live programming to a detailed discussion of the subject. Now, this story is still evolving, and in reaction to public protests, both bills were withdrawn for retooling last Friday. The issues and subtleties are too complex for the time that we have for this newscast, so we suggest that you view the January 18th editions of Tech News Today, This Week in Google, Triangulation, and Security Now, and follow-up legal analysis on January 20th's This Week in Law for detailed coverage. The ARRL reports that Lieutenant General Susan Lawrence has reversed a decision to phase out the use of WinLink 2000, the global radio email system, by Army Mars members. Lieutenant General Lawrence stated that the Army, after reviewing its WinLink capabilities, decided that continued use would be in Mars' best interest. She went on to call it a valuable asset to Army Mars. Army Mars members and agencies using the service hailed the decision and have resumed use of WinLink 2000. The ARRL also reports that more amateurs are working DX these days. In 2010, the DXCC desk processed about 7,100 applications for initial awards and endorsements. These applications included about 853,000 QSOs. In 2011, the DXCC desk processed more than 11,000 applications, representing over 1.25 million QSOs, which indicates a 57% increase in applications and a 47% increase in the number of QSOs. And that's an impressive increase in any area of ham radio. And for this week, that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source of ham radio news, brought to you each week without interruption for nearly 35 years at www.arnewsline.org. It's usually at this point in the newscast that I do my SIG out. That's a standard phrase that indicates the end of the segment and is a cue for the engineer to switch to the next programming element. Now, we've run late the past couple of weeks, and nothing's happened until I uttered that phrase. So it occurred to me, if I don't say it, I could stay on all night. Why, I could...
Oh, microphone. What a guy.
So cute.
What a guy. That's great. George, I know that you've known Bill Pasternak for a long time, and it's really great to have such professionals come in here and help us, because they're retired. They don't need to do this, but they love ham radio so much that they give it their time and talent. And speaking of time and talent, let me see what kind of smoke and solder and things you got. You don't have a lot of smoke and solder, I hope, in this week. Aren't you reviewing some new iCOM transceivers? Is that what you got going? Let's see what you got.
Yeah, we're talking about a couple of different models of iCOMs that Ray sent us down to test out. It's the IC718 and the IC7200, which is a newer rig, and they're both great radios. Fortunately, I didn't generate any smoke with them in the process of testing them here. They work great, and let's take a look at those videos. The IC718 is iCOM's popular entry-level rig. It has all the features that you would expect in a rig of this class. Of course, all rigs have a volume control, RF gain, and a squelch. The IC718 also has a RIT control that's helpful for tuning in those stations that are just a little bit off frequency. There's also a shift control that'll help eliminate some adjacent interference. The 718 is an all-mode rig with the exception of FM. It does not cover the FM mode. The 718 includes DSP noise reduction filters, which really help. Of course, there's a noise blanker and audio compressor, as you would expect in most rigs. There's also preamp, attenuator, controls for an optional auto tuner, and other features. Looking at the rear of the unit, we see all the usual suspects. Of course, an antenna jack, ground connection, power connector, connector for an optional auto tuner, send and ALC lines to connect to an optional linear amplifier, a jack for a CW key, the accessory connector, an external speaker jack, and a remote control jack that may be used with an optional serial level interface. The IC718 offers good performance in an economical rig with features like wide dynamic range, a high signal-to-noise ratio, and full-duty operation. The 718 is a practical rig at a good price. The thing I like most about the iCOM IC 7200 HF and 6-meter transceiver is its rugged looks. I mean, this thing looks like a piece of military gear. It's very well constructed. You can even get an optional pair of rack mount style handles that fit on the sides and also help protect the front of the rig. If you need a rig you can take out for mobile or portable operations like field day or emergency communications, the IC 7200 might just fit the bill. The radio has all the normal features like a volume and RF gain and squelch control, and there's quick access to the memory channels as well as the program settings through special keys here. And there's also a twin passband tuning control that can be very handy for eliminating interference on adjacent channels. The IC 7200 is an all-mode radio with the exception of FM. iCOM decided to leave out the FM on this radio since it's not that frequently used, thereby allowing for a sharper first IF in the radio to help sensitivity and selectivity. The radio also includes a speech button that will give us some quick parameters.
S9, 3.77 megahertz, LSB.
The bandwidth filtering allows you to have 3 separate settings, a wide, a medium, and a narrow. Holding down on the button engages the filter settings, where you can choose a filter width anywhere from 3600 down to 50 hertz. I usually like to run my wide bandwidth filter on 3000 hertz. The medium bandwidth filter is set to 2400 hertz. Of course, we can adjust that if we want to, but 24 sounds about right to me. The low bandwidth filter, or narrow, is set to 1800 hertz, and that's a good bandwidth to choose, especially if you're expecting stations 2 kilohertz away. The IC 7200 has a number of noise reducers, of course the noise blanker that most rigs have, but also the DSP noise reduction, which seems to be pretty effective on this rig and can really help cut down background noise. There's also an automatic notch filter to get rid of that whistle when somebody's tuning up next to you. In addition to a number of other features on the radio, there's also an AGC button that allows you to choose between medium and fast AGC speeds. There's twin passband tuning and a number of other features on the radio. Unfortunately, we just don't have time to cover them all here. On the rear of the unit, the first thing we notice is the heavy cast aluminum construction. There's corners on either side to help protect the heatsink and the connectors, and there's a fairly large heatsink on this rig as well. There's the normal connectors you'd expect, the antenna, a ground connection, a power connector. Now this one is slightly different than most power connectors, and there's the plug for the optional auto tuner. There's also an accessory connector, a jack to plug a code key in, the connectors necessary for an optional linear amplifier, a remote connector, and an external speaker jack. But the connector that sets this rig apart from most others is the USB connector. This allows you to do remote control and data modes with this radio without requiring an optional audio interface. Both data and audio are transferred over the USB connector. Aside from its good looks, the IC 7200 has all the normal features you'd expect on a rig of this cost, as well as DSP features. It can operate on DC voltages down to 11.7, which is a little unusual, and it has the USB remote control and data. Well, they're both great rigs. I really like that 7200 because it looks so well built. And a review of the remote control functions on that rig in the last amateurlogic.tv episode, I don't remember the number, but the very last one that came out right around Christmas, and it was great playing with it. It really worked good to have control and the audio in and out all coming out of that one USB jack, Bob.
Yeah, that's really great for that that price radio, and I'm glad that you went through those. Thanks for all the work to do that, and we appreciate Ray at iCOM sending those along so we could share all that with the Ham Nation audience here. That's wonderful. Did you have anything on your contest? Did we get anything going this week at all?
We sure did. You know, this week we're going to give away a copy of Constructing HF Wire Antennas. This is a great book I've been reading by Jerry Buston, KR7KZ. And we had a number of people enter our contests at hamnationcontest@gmail.com. And the winner is Jim Dunsmer, KD0PJG. He had the correct answer to the question, which was, why did I put a diode across the relay coil? And the reason is for transient protection. And everyone who answered had the right answer on that one. We appreciate everyone who participated. And we'll be getting that book out to you, Jim, this week. And we've got another prize we want to give away next week. Let's give away another one of these little 24-hour MFJ clocks. What do you say about that, Bob?
That's a really cool thing, and we all should have one because it's so helpful. And we thank Martin and all the crew at MFJ for sending those along. They've been very helpful to the show here. So let's do what we can to give the MFJ clock away.
Yeah, and to give it away, let's just do something a little different this time. And you don't really have to have the right answer on this. Just tell us where you think Gordo will pop up next, and we'll draw from everyone who sends answer in. And we'll be looking for some unusual ones.
Is this like where in the world is Gordo?
That's it, exactly. Yeah, where in the world is Gordo?
Maybe we better watch it because NBC might have that. They might have that trademarked for Matt Lauer. Oh, gracious. How much fun. That's great. Well, speaking of where Gordo could be next, we've got a little short video of the Hawaiian beacon. He spends a lot of time monitoring that beacon across the ocean from Costa Mesa where he lives. And it's very, very cool when it comes in. I've been there a couple of times when this has happened. Now, everybody just think about this a minute. Just stop and think about this. He's in Costa Mesa, and the beacon is in Hawaii across the ocean. They do this on 2 meters. It's absolutely amazing when it happens, and it's called ducting. And it happens, of course, when the ionosphere is just right. And then, of course, when the beacon comes in, old Gordo spends all day in his radio room waiting till the exact right moment that the ionosphere allows him to talk to Paul down there. So let's listen to some of that. So, Alex, fire away. Let's see what's happening in Hawaii via 2 meters.
Hawaii calls. Hannah behind the camera and Julian behind the camera are getting married. They're getting married in May in Hawaii. Ham Nation will definitely be there. But, you know, the Hawaiian beacon has even beat them. We're already hearing the Hawaiian beacon this year. And hopefully we'll be hearing the Hawaiian beacon next year. And our Hawaiian beacon man is Paul Lieb, King Henry VI Hotel Mike Echo. Paul, what's new with the Hawaiian beacon?
What's new with Hawaiian beacon? Well, when those newlyweds get to Hawaii, you'll have to go up to the beacon site and talk to Gordo, to his home QTH from Hawaii.
That's great. And, Paul, how long has those beacons been on the air that we've been hearing out here on the mainland?
They've been on the air for roughly 40 years.
40 years. And what's it like to drive to the top of an active volcano to light off that beacon?
Oh, it really was a big difference between yesterday and today. But it's up at 8,200 feet elevation on the slopes of a 13-plus 1,000-foot active volcano.
Wow, what a ham. That would go to the top of an active volcano and light off beacons for us to work over here. And here is one of the big beacon recipients of a great signal over there with two-way contacts, and that is Chip Margelli, K7J. Hi, Chip.
Hey, Gordo. How are you today?
I am fine. And what's new with your station at home for the Hawaiian beacon?
Well, we're just always looking for it, especially when we get warm weather here in Southern California, which is fairly often. That's our cue to be looking to the west for the possibility of a tropospheric opening on 2 meters, perhaps even higher frequencies than that. It's always exciting, and Paul is the man that has made it happen for decades, and we just keep our ears on the 2 meter frequency, and every now and then here comes the beacon, and a few hours later here comes Paul, big as day, just talking like we're talking right now, 2 feet away from each other.
So, Paul, thank you from all of the viewers out there for going to the Beacon Volcano high spot and lighting the beacon off. Now we need to hear your very best aloha.
Aloha.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Chip.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
That's great. Paul is quite a guy, and many people know of him for all these many years, 40 years. So that's great. But we're not going to do that, George, from here. We're not going to hear that very often. It's not like they do there. Well, we want to check a couple of more times here. Let's see what's going on in the chat room, Cheryl. Anything we need to know? It's hard for us to keep a watch on all of it here, and that's your active thing tonight. What's happening there?
Sure, I have a couple things I wanted to mention to George, that one of the chat room folks would like George to do a mobile rating. And he wanted to also, there was someone else that commented, how does the iCOM 718 compare to the Alinco DX SR8T, as in Tom? Is that a familiar radio to you, George? Did he catch that question?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Oh. Well, maybe I should.
He might have lost his signal. There he goes.
Oh,
Hello.
I'll just repeat it real quick. They wanted you to do a mobile install on a Goldwing, actually, George, was a comment. And then the question was, how does the iCOM 718 rig compare to the Alinco DX SR number 8T, SR8T radio? Are you familiar with that one?
I'm somewhat familiar with it. I've seen it before, but I've never used one of those, so I would hesitate to say. The 718 is a good rig. I think the Alinco is very similar in price, and not sure about performance, though, because I've never used one of them.
Thank you for that answer. And can I ask one quick one for you, Bob?
Yes, ma'am. I'm all ears.
Everybody's so excited about the new microphone, and they ask, what inspired you to make the HM12 mic?
Well, I wanted to do something that was inexpensive, not cheap. That doesn't have this name on it if it's cheap. I wanted it to be high quality, but I wanted something that we could all afford that would work on every radio, and we got pretty close. There's a couple of them of real low gain early iComs that it won't, but I'm using on all the stuff behind me, all the vintage stuff. I use it on just everything here, and it was really kind of a fun thing. It started off as an interview microphone, so the element in it is very high quality, but we wanted to build an interview microphone for the broadcast industry. And after we got it all done, tooled it all up, it was too short. They wanted it to be longer. So we made an interview mic. It's almost a foot long, which is unheard of in that industry. We're still working on that. It's not a viable product yet, but it uses that element. And that element is a very, very nice open frame. It's very different, open frame design. It's got about 35 dB of rear, so you're not going to hear anything. And it's a marvelous piece of technology for amateur radio. And at $70, it can't be beat. So we're very proud and honored to bring it to you at those prices. So thanks to the broadcast industry for inviting me to do that. Here we are. That's the HM12.
Excellent, excellent. Can I just, one of the viewers actually wanted to know if they were to write into the twit, they wanted to get the email for the show. So could you just verify, or someone could chime in and verify that email address for twit?
Well, there's so many people at twit, so it just depends on what they're going to do. But if you watch the different programs, you'll see emails come up for all the different hosts, and that would be the best thing to do. Just keep watching Twit Live, and you'll see some of those emails, because there's a lot of them, I can tell you that. But most of them are names. The producer of this show is Lynn, just Lynn at twit.tv. Leo, you could do Leo at Twit, so whoever you wanted to pose a question to. So that's Perfect. What you would do.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, we're getting down to the end of everything. Before I go, I have to let you know one thing that's going to happen before the end of the month. Heil Sound is the only manufacturer in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm very proud and honored by that, quite humbled. And to do a nice little thing for everybody, we are giving away 2 free tickets to Cleveland and a tour of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. All you got to do is go to the Facebook page and check in. I mean, it's going to be a random drawing, so it'll be pretty good odds for you, and you might want to do that. You're going to win a trip to see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and you'll get a very special treatment there. And just go to our website, heilsound.com. There's a big banner. Just click on it and it'll take you there, or go to our Facebook page. If you haven't checked into Facebook, it's really fun. Go check into that. We got 2 of them, one for the pro side and one for the ham radio side. So you got to check in twice. You get twice. Twice the action. So, George, everything closed up in Mississippi. We're about ready to close the book for tonight. You okay down there to close her up?
Yeah, everything's fine here. We've got the soldering iron off, so we can safely close the door and go on home. Enjoyed it, Bob. Looking forward to next week.
Thank you. Everything all right up north? You got your snow shovel out or anything like that? You got Dave out there taking care of things? Or I don't guess you have snow yet, but are you all closed up, Cheryl?
We're all closed up.
Snowblower.
Listen, we use the snowblower with the headlight if we have to, but it kind of melted in the rain. But that's okay. I love that light you've got there. Terrific.
Yeah, is that cool?
Thanks for everybody listening tonight, and thanks for coming and listening.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. I'll take Gordo's light over here, and we'll see what happens. And thanks for watching Ham Nation. We'll see you next week here at the same time. Pass the word on to all your amateur radio and even just friends that love good technology. It's right here on the Twit Network. Thanks so much for being here. 73, K9EID, and the whole crew at Ham Nation.